Hey, beautiful friends. This is Sarah Blumenfeld, host of Networking Done Different. I'm delighted today to be joined by David and Liz Hopkins, owner of ARCpoint Labs. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining me. I think you have an awesome thing and I'm excited to share about it. So first of all, tell us what ARCpoint Labs is. What does ARC stand for?
The founder, originator of the group was a welder. And so he had a crew, and he started off by doing his drug screens and toxicology. And in tribute to the ARC, it's ARCpoint Labs.
Oh, wow. But ARC stands for something, right?
It's a nod to being a welder.
I thought I saw something about accuracy, reliability, and confidentiality or something
Well,
like that.
that is absolutely true. We use the best labs that we have in the nation, SAMHSA approved and CLIA and so on. There's multiple accreditations that we choose to work with. So we have the best available. We pick and choose things based on availability, based on quality. So yeah, and it's all confidential. So your results are your results. You can do with them as you please.
Yeah, well, we're going to talk about that some more because that's super important. How did you get into this business?
For over 20 years, I was a safety and health professional in oil and gas, and that was great. And we made a move in 2014, and I started thinking about small businesses and how we could contribute. We had moved to a small community, and everyone wears several hats, and that's kind of what started the thinking process.
Right.
I have a background in toxicology and compliance, from my occupation, but health and wellness has always been an issue, or an interest, I should say. I've had food sensitivities my whole life and crazy seasonal allergies, worst of the worst. I had really bad seasonal allergies, and so, in trying to figure out how to make that better, how to alleviate some of those problems.
Right.
That started me and down that path. My wife, Liz, she has helped me greatly with that. She found a book that changed our lives. And should I mention the book?
Yes, you should, because everybody will say, what's the book? What's the book?
All right. So Dr. Peter Diadamo has Eat According to Your Type. And that is colloquially known as the blood type diet. And so based on the 4 major types, he has some dietary recommendations, and it radically changed my life.
Wow.
So that was the beginning of that. So we have I'm a safety guy. I understand some compliance and some confidentiality and some toxicology, and I'm very interested in health and wellness. And so at some point around 2020, we started looking at opportunities that were available to us to have a business. And we kind of narrowed it down and decided that ARCpoint Labs was a great fit for us.
Yeah. And it's a franchise, right?
It is a franchise. We have over 130 other locations in the country.
Nice.
They're all privately owned and operated. And so this is ours. We have several other owners in Houston. And I collaborate with them daily almost. It's a really good group to work with.
Yeah. I had another interview of someone who was in a different kind of a franchise, and we talked about the extra benefits you get from having this network of people who have these different experiences, and you have all this support, and it really is a contribution to the business.
Yeah, sharing of resources and materials, and seeing what they've been through and learning from their mistakes, or just situations they've been in that they found a better way to do things. And so they've been a fantastic support group. So we have we have folks in the Woodlands, Sugarland, west side of Houston, Humble. We have one in Humble now. There's one going into Katy. 290 and 34th, we have a location. So these are all good friends of ours at this point that are ready to help. And then they have the same setup. You know, they have the same operation that we have.
Right, right. Well, it's important to have labs that are independent like this, right? You talked about confidentiality. I'd like to talk about that a little bit more.
Sure.
If you go to a doctor and you get labs done, then who all has your results? Too many people, in my personal opinion. So talk about that. How does it actually work when someone comes into you?
You can walk in the door, or you can go to our website. Our website is pretty well populated. Everything is not on there, but a huge amount of things are on there for you to pick and choose from.
Okay.
But you can come through the door. You can talk to Esperanza, who is our manager, and she's extremely knowledgeable. She's worked at multiple labs previous to this, and she's very happy here. I'm glad to say we're very happy to have her.
Very happy with
She's
Esperanza.
an excellent resource. And so, yeah, you may or may not know what you want to do. You may have food sensitivities. You may have blood work questions. You may have hormone questions. Very knowledgeable. And we may or may not help you choose the test that you want to do. We'll typically do the phlebotomy here, right? So we do the blood work. We send it off to the appropriate lab. The labs will come back to you. If you have further questions, we have some corporate team doctors that will help you walk through the results. So if there's something way out of range, we have access to personnel, medical personnel, who can help you with questions of things.
Oh, nice.
So that is a perk. That is kind of a neat thing that we offer. Yeah. So
What's different about this entire lab setup operation is that you can decide what you want to be tested on. You can read about something. You can just decide you want to know what's going on in your body, make the appointment yourself. There's no going through your doctor. You don't have to have permission. And that's new. People aren't used to that, but you don't need permission to get your blood tested. And I've learned that if insurance doesn't approve the test, you couldn't get it from your doctor anyway. So this is new. This is a new experience for people. And to have somebody just be able to walk in the door, not a 3-hour wait, you don't have to be in the queue, just walk in. You can have any test that we can provide you, you can have done. It's amazing. A friend of ours coined the phrase health freedom, and I have to agree with that. It is the freedom to not only have a test, but know your results and keep it private, like you say. It's revolutionary, and we're just happy to be a part of it. It's the neatest thing we could be offering to people. And we did start with the blood type book. I retired from the public library in Lake City, and one day someone was talking about that book. I say we're like Amway salesmen with it, because we will tell anybody about this book, because we went home, read a little bit on it, and it was eye-opening. I had things that when I was little, I had allergy testing. They didn't think to test for corn, and corn is a huge thing. I'm an AB blood type, and corn is huge. 20 minutes after I eat something with corn in it, I'm all stuffed up. I can't breathe. Oh, wow. And they thought it was dogs. They thought it was cats. They tested grass. It was corn. And I had cereal. I had corn dogs for lunch. I was never not without corn in my diet, but we didn't know. And they thought I had asthma. I had allergy shots. Anyway, it's huge. So this book changed our lives. And now this, some of the tests that we can offer goes even further into allergy testing and what you can find out about what your body's doing right now.
Right. Yeah. Let's talk about that. When you showed me in your office, and we're going to share the screen here in a second, that you can do these food allergy tests and find out, oh, this thing that I'm eating every day, like you say, Liz, corn, it's like, oh my goodness, this is not doing good things to my body. And And then you, excuse me, stop eating it. It's like, wow. Okay, so if you want to go ahead and share your screen and kind of talk about this test.
But he could do his mouse.
All right. Take two here. Let's see. Okay.
Yep, there it is.
There we go.
All right.
Are we up and running?
Yes, I see it. We're good.
All right.
Fantastic. Okay. So this is a test that we have available through one of our preferred labs. This is a food sensitivity test. And these results are my personal results that I'm happy to share and explain with your group here. So this is the big hot rod full 208 food items that's tested against 3 different antigen responses. So in the top right corner, you see the IgA response. The IgA antigen will turn up in mucous membranes, and we'll see what that means here in just a second. IgG antibodies will show symptoms that show up from things that circulate in your bloodstream. And the IgG4 is a blocking antibody against the allergy reactions. So you may not have an immediate allergy reaction to something, but this is kind of a more of a long-term reactionary issue that will cause some multiple symptoms that we'll talk about here in just a minute. But so looking at page 1, and this really lines up pretty good with the blood type diet. I am an O positive, and according to the Dr. Diadamo, I should avoid wheat and dairy. And right off the bat, you see dairy. I react across the board to the dairy items that were tested. And I will tell you, I love cheese enchiladas. Let's go have lunch. I'll have some cheese enchiladas. And within 20 to 30 minutes, my sinuses are clogging up. I'm blowing my nose. I'm picking at my eyes. The milk fat expresses out through the mucous membranes for me. And it's not immediate, but it's really close to immediate.
Let's do it.
As you can see, the gray scale is the IgG, and it's also causing inflammation. So when 20 years ago, when we started down this path, I was inflamed and I didn't know it. I ran every day. I was healthy. I ate the food pyramid. Everything was great. But I should show you my picture at some point.
No, don't do that.
I was puffy.
Just because it has personal information on it, I don't want it on the screen.
That particular one does, yeah.
Not right.
But you know, what are you gonna do? So yeah, but at the same time, my cholesterol then was 274. I ate right, I ran, I exercised. It didn't make sense. Well, now it makes more sense now that I see this report.
Yeah.
The other thing is, who doesn't love, well, my sister's allergic to some of these, so that's another clue. But almonds, man, almonds, walnuts, cashews, I love all those things. And I would eat handfuls of almonds and almond M&Ms and almond milk and all that stuff. Well, whoops, I've cut back on that. And I've seen some improvements in my health since last fall when I took this test.
Yeah.
Which one?
Go down.
It's interesting how the fruits and vegetables are all good. we're like,
for me,
yeah.
fruits and vegetables are great. Okay.
Oh, wow.
So let's think about this, everybody. If you don't have wheat or dairy dairy for breakfast, that means you probably are having a couple eggs, some bacon, some leftover enchiladas. So I've literally had at least 2 eggs for breakfast for the last 20 years. And wow, the report came back. I'm like, well, no kidding, no kidding. So what's interesting about this is I'm just vain enough that I still do crunches and I try to be lean. But you know, it's old age. Oh, I'm just getting old, and my gut was extending out. And I always felt like I had a brick living in there. And when you live with it every day, you don't think about these things.
Yeah.
But since last fall, I've cut the eggs. No more eggs for breakfast. And I will tell you, the brick is gone. The distension it's starting to flatten out. It's not sticking out anymore. It's like, oh, this is good stuff. So that was a major change that I made. I was also a big fan of green beans. I thought I could have green beans. And clearly, if you look at the legumes column over there,
Yeah.
So I've cut back on those too. So
We don't eat anything anymore.
so it's interesting what I do eat, and what's crazy is a lot of meat, vegetable, fruit, and it ends up being more like an Asian diet for me. And
but you can see that his grains aren't really popping, but he kept away from all grains. And it's so interesting. We were eating the chicken eggs and thinking no problem, plenty of protein, and the grains aren't any problem at all. It's just, who knew? And now he can enjoy maybe some more grains, and they're not as hurting him as like he thought.
Right.
But how wonderful. We didn't know anything about this type of testing before we had this lab. We were just going by the book, which helped us tremendously. But
right,
this is wonderful. Anyone can have this. And not because we're trying to sell it. It's just anyone can have this. What a fantastic tool to have.
It may eliminate 20 years of experimentation on your behalf.
Well, exactly, right? So you think, oh, well, grains are causing this distension problem. And then you take this and you go, oh, no, it's not grains at all. For me, it's green beans and chicken eggs.
There's a book.
I never have claimed to be normal. I just want to put that out there. But I will tell you, it has made a significant difference, just even since last fall.
Well, and another thing I want to point out is that this is your individual test. And even though you are an O positive blood type, the listener should not therefore assume, oh, well, my test will be the same because I'm the same. That's not it at all, right? It's your individual body.
It is. We're all made up of different, genetic material, and some of it connects and some of it doesn't. I do not look like my father's side of the family. I look very much like my mother's side of the family, and so I'm gonna assume, based on appearance, which I guess no one should never do, that maybe I have more of those traits and more of the inherited, characteristics than from dad's side. So
okay.
And I have mom's blood type. Dad had a different blood type. So so again, it may or may not make sense. It doesn't matter at this point. I have my test results, and I know now what I should have and what I shouldn't have. And if I cheat and I have a big omelet, then I know I'm gonna have the brick show up.
Right.
Probably a couple hours later, and I'll just be a little miserable the rest of the day. But maybe that creme brulee or that omelet was worth it.
Was it worth it? Right, exactly.
Always worth it.
Maybe it is.
So do you do this test like once and done, or do you do it like every year, or what would you recommend on that?
It's been about 6 months since I've taken this. I might take it again in a year just to see if there's been any adjustment, if the body is still going to react so wildly to the eggs. It would be interesting to do that. I think 6 months out, it doesn't make sense.
Right.
Now we have other tests, like we have cellular micronutrient testing that we can do.
Okay.
That is more about the actual day-to-day nutrition levels within your cells and how your body's reacting. Is it deficiency or adequate, or you have too much of that vitamin or that nutrient in your system? Are you taking too much zinc? Are you taking too much copper? Are you taking too much B12? We have tests that will tell you that. And that would be something you would do more frequently as you adjust your diet and so on. But I think this would be more of a grand, a much bigger frequency, larger frequency.
The nice thing about this test is there is no fasting before you take this test, and they encourage you to eat every anything that you are going to eat, because that
Right.
helps the levels to show you what's really going on. So don't avoid a food and don't fast. When they pull your blood, it's going to measure what exactly is going on, which is nice.
Yeah, yeah. Cool. Okay, you can stop sharing your screen. Let's talk about that nutrition test, because I don't know about y'all, but I have like 50 bottles of different supplements in my house.
Right.
Because
That's
I
right.
read about something, it's like, oh, that sounds good.
I think I need that one.
I
Yes.
think I need that one.
Yes, I am guilty of the same thing.
Yeah, we have another lab that has a really unique micronutrient test available. They do, they do celiac and they do environmental toxins. They have a wide range of interesting tests. But for me, like I said, yeah, since we're on nutrition and we're talking about supplements and exercising, and we get in a groove and we think, oh, yeah, we have a lab that there's 48 different vitamins, minerals, amino acids, and other nutrients that they can test for. And additionally, there's another 52 items that are antioxidant protection assay. And so there's a number of botanicals, extracts, pigments, phytonutrients, anti-inflammatory nutrients, fatty acids, and so on. So along the same line. So there's a great big test here. It can be broken in half, and it will give you a full rundown of do you have enough lithium, magnesium, manganese, potassium, selenium, strontium, vanadium, zinc. So what happens is we do the blood draw. We send the sample off to this lab. They propagate the white cells or the lymphocytes that are in your system. They propagate them and put them in a bunch of different, up to 100 different wells. And then they add these various items and they monitor the activity. And that gives you a right now response of what those cells are needing or they don't need.
Oh, wow.
It's wild. It's really wild stuff. And so that would give you a right now, are you taking enough vitamin D or C or A or E or K or K2 or so we have, I can go through the whole list, but
right.
There's 100 different items on here that it
Wow.
will tell you if you're, deficient or just right, or you have too much of.
Yeah. Well, that can be so valuable. I mean, not only can it save you money from taking stuff you don't need,
That's right.
but right, it can focus you in on this is
Right.
what your body requires.
Yeah, and if you were on a budget and buying supplements,
Well,
then that helps you narrow it down. Absolutely.
Yeah. And you do testing for like heavy metals and other like pollutants in the body.
Yes, we have a number of different things available to us just for heavy metals, for example. There are multiple heavy metals tests that we can do that will, let's face it, we're here in an industrial area, and depending on which way the wind blows, we may be getting any number of heavy metals, organics, hydrocarbons.
Right.
Let's not forget that it wasn't that long ago that the tap water in Texas City was flammable. That wasn't that long ago. Maybe I'm old, but that was maybe 10 years ago.
Oh,
Was that
wow.
about 10 years ago?
Oh, my goodness.
The residents in Old Texas City somehow found out that they could take a lighter off their kitchen tap and see it was being hydrocarbons were gassing out of the tap water.
Well,
Oh my
it's
gosh.
not only outside influence, but I'm old enough to have all the mercury amalgams in my mouth. I have the fillings, and if you don't have those removed, they're
In the proper way.
the proper way. There is a proper way to do that. But
I did it at New Teeth Dental. It is quite complicated. They
well,
make sure it's not gonna.
they're really good. Now I had them removed, I'll say, with rabbit ears, but it wasn't the right way. They just removed them. So think of a jackhammer, and all of that mercury is going into your body.
Yep.
I had to clean that up, and you go figure out how to clean it up. That's fine. We will test you and tell you what's here.
Yeah.
But here's a surprising thing. I had a heavy metals test. I had surgery years ago, and I popped for high levels of barium. Now, they tell you that when you have a barium test, that it leaves your body, but it didn't leave my body. I have very high levels.
Oh,
So
wow.
one thing that I'm on my own researching is how to chelate, get that out of my body.
Mhm.
And what a surprising result, but
Wow.
what a fantastic thing to learn.
Yeah.
The mercury levels actually weren't high, which I'm thankful for.
Mhm.
But the barium that was surprising. So I'm
Yeah.
taking steps to get that out of my body.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what I love, the whole wellness concept of your
Right.
lab is let's find out what's going on so that then you can find out how to correct it so that you can stop experiencing these things that you don't know why you're experiencing them or other people tell you, but it's not the right thing, etc. I love that.
Hmm.
And this is why we're very excited with connecting with other health and wellness people
Mhm.
who have solutions for some of these things. You know,
Yeah.
we can get the quantitative results and
Yeah.
let you know where you're at. And then I have a front table that's a growing number of cards and referrals and
Mhm.
of people that we're meeting here in the area that can help, you know,
Yeah.
with these solutions.
What a fabulous network to be a
Yeah.
part of. That's what
Yeah.
we're excited about.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
So besides the health and wellness pieces, I know you do like testing for businesses, drug testing and stuff. Just could you share a little about that as well?
Well, half the business is toxicology, and so we offer drug and alcohol screening to individuals, to businesses, and to, you know. So again, that goes back to compliance and ensuring a safe and healthy workplace. Always includes a good drug and alcohol program, and we can help with that stuff too. So for just employers who need to manage a random testing program, you know, because some of their employees are in a high sensitivity position.
Mhm.
Uh, for DOT drivers, you know, who are moving heavy loads and so on, they're governed by the DOT regulations. We can help manage those programs and help with some of their audits and things that need to happen. We
Okay.
can be the third party administrator. So if you're a small company and these requirements you have to meet, maybe having those 12 guys um, constantly rotated through the pool every year is a negative for the employees.
Mm.
And we can then put a bunch of small companies together in a large pool, and then that distributes the potential for the randoms and so on. That's not to say you won't get tested. You know, you
Right.
could be tested
Right.
3 months in a row because it truly is random.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
you're in a much bigger pool, and it's much it lessens the burden on the smaller businesses that have to comply with that.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
And what else do you offer over there?
DNA testing.
Ah.
So we have all kinds of DNA tests that we can do, and for ancestry and siblingship and paternity, but you know, all kinds of interesting ways to get to answer the question that you may have about your DNA ancestry, and including, you know, we can offer chain of custody that's admissible in court for those serious situations where you might need to prove one way or the other that you're related.
Mhm.
But we also have all kinds of pharmacogenetic testing. So this goes back to, you know, statistical data that has been accumulated that they can correlate exactly certain gene types will react with certain pharmaceuticals or not. So just like the cellular micronutrient testing will tell you if you're deficient or you have an overabundance of a micronutrient,
Mhm.
this pharmacogenetics testing will tell you if you will or will not react with that particular pharmaceutical that your doctor, you know, your conventional doctor is trying to give you.
Oh, wow.
There's a, it's not entirely all encompassing, but there's a whole bunch of tests that will reveal for a whole bunch of different things. That's pretty interesting. Genetic.
Yeah. I've never even heard of that. That's amazing.
And again, it's confidential, so
Yeah.
you can slip over here on the side. Hey, my doctor's giving me this. Well, here's a test, and we'll see if your gene type is compatible with that medication.
Wow.
So that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
So fun.
And super valuable. Oh my gosh.
It's
Super
very
valuable.
valuable.
So this is one of those things, like the insurance company won't pay for that.
Yeah.
And so the doctor, bless their hearts, they're practicing as best they can in most cases, but you may have a unique gene type from
Mhm.
like my mother's side of the family where you don't react well with certain medications.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and if I didn't know that from mom's side of the family, I can't tell the doctor that. And so they're just going to put me on it. Well, then what happens? And you hear these cases all the time, right? You had an adverse reaction to
Yep.
this med, and it's not normal. Well, okay, I never said I was normal. But this pharmacogenetic testing would help clarify the
Yeah.
right path for the physician to take.
Right. And you did mention insurance. So your business is self-pay, correct?
We are self-pay, and the advantages are our pricing model is it's really hard to beat. I can say I will match any price that's out there. Now, I am looking to get credentialed for a number of different insurances, and that's great. And we're going to give that as an option because I like options. I think we should all have options. But it will be a different price list, I will tell you, because the insurance company is going to only reimburse so much back to me, and they're going to take their cut out of the situation. But we're offering that now. We do offer. There's an outfit called Care Credit, and if anybody should know about this,
Okay.
it is a credit card, and you apply just like you do any other credit card. And they have some very standardized terms. So for up to 1,000, well, the amount is kind of irrelevant. It's the payment returned that is important. So if you want to finance this procedure, this test, whatever, for 6 months, and you make your payments, it doesn't cost you, the consumer, anything. It's a 0%
Oh, wow.
interest. Now, if you have to extend beyond your agreed terms, then it's a little ridiculous. But if you can pay it off in that 6, 12, 18-month period, it doesn't cost you anything. What it costs me as the proprietor is a standard like credit card fees.
Okay.
So it's that 3 to 5% range, depending on the amount that we agree on. So it's no different than you swiping your card and I get hit with the same merchant account fees. So that's the model that they use. But as a consumer, you really should have a Care credit card because it's 0% financing for you. Just make sure you pay it off within the terms.
Right. Oh, that's cool. Well, another thing about not using your insurance is the confidentiality of it, right?
Absolutely.
You're not submitting all the codes that justify the testing, and now your insurance company and God knows who else has that information.
Right.
That's exactly right. I guess third, we are set up. We can accept your health savings account card.
Oh, okay.
So if there's a medical purpose behind this test, then, which of course it's blood work, yes, you can.
Right, right.
So yeah, we can accept the health savings account card. So there's 3 ways currently, and we're looking at getting credentialed for some insurances.
Okay. Toe in the water. I don't know.
It's necessary evil that we should offer that as an extended range.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay. What else? You do like B12 injections or something like that?
We have injections available. We have currently in stock, we have B12, we have B-lipo, we have C, and we have, what else do we have? Anyway, yes, we have several vitamin injections available. So we're trying
So what's the benefit of that? Why would somebody want to do that?
Increased energy.
It's going straight into the bloodstream. So maybe you have gut issues. Maybe you're not, you can take, again, all the supplements you want, but if your gut is a mess, maybe you're not getting full benefit. This is straight into the bloodstream, and the benefits are same day, within hours. It depends on how you metabolize, what your results will be, but it is increased energy. And I mean, research this on your own, but B12 is better as you build it up in your body.
Hmm.
So people that get these shots love to get these shots because your body gets used to having them, of course, and the benefit is there. So you're either a fan or you're not, but
Right.
so that is.
All right. Well, this has been absolutely fascinating. As we wrap up, is there anything else you'd like to share? And of course, tell us, where you're located and what your website address is.
Sure. We are located on Highway 3, right here in Webster. We are just south of Bay Area Boulevard. And so far, when I've told everyone we're next door to Benjamin Moore Paint, everyone knows where Benjamin Moore Paint is. That's our next door neighbors.
Okay. Okay.
So they're good neighbors to have. It's just for identification purposes.
Right. Right.
No, good bunch of guys over there. You seriously go look at their selections.
They cover the world, right? Isn't that their slogan?
We are ARCpointlabs.com / we are Bay-Area-Houston.
Okay.
So that is our website. But we're on the web. We're on Google. We're visible in social media, on LinkedIn. We are on Facebook. We are in other things that our marketing.
He's looking at me because I'm the social media person. So we're everywhere. A phone number, 281-572-0151. If you want to just call, you are welcome to drop in. Esperanza is fantastic. If you had questions about a test, she can walk you through them. You can decide what you want to do, when it'd be best for you to do it. I mean, she is fabulous. So come see it. Come take a tour of the lab. We would love to have you.
Yeah, when I came, it's beautiful. It's very clean. And David was showing me this notebook. It's like, okay, we got this test and this test, and you can just kind of go through it and say, oh, that one sounds good. That looks interesting. It's really such wow, it's such a gold mine of ways to get information about what's going on inside you that otherwise you're just guessing.
It's amazing. It is amazing.
Yeah, so many times the insurance won't pay for a particular test, and the doctors they have a stranglehold. If they don't have the test done, the diagnostic done, they're not allowed to treat. And by treat, most times it's just some pharmaceutical.
Yeah.
And so it's a hamstrung situation, but I have a full catalog of things, and you're willing to pick and choose and shop and decide what works best for you. And that's why we're here.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, David and Liz, thank you so much. This has been amazing. And I hope our listeners really take advantage of your services, because I think it can be a real benefit to them.
Thank you. Thank you for interviewing us today, Sarah.
Thank you so much. You're fabulous host.
Thank you. I love this so much. I run around my house after every interview and go, oh, I love this so much.
It's fantastic.
All right. So thank you, friends, so much for joining us today on this interview. And if you would like to be interviewed, please email me at networkingdonedifferent@gmail.com. Have a beautiful day. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.